here, and we'll have it today right here. Never be with.
Some of us don't care. And put you looking like a peacock. Can I get that key really fast, man?
Great opportunity for us to be able to get our hands on the equipment, and just to be able to, show our other soldiers, being able to stay hydrated, not have very many heat casualties. So whenever we're set to putting the department together, just the teamwork, seeing that we have Navy out here, we have Air Force, we have Army, and to be able to see, the different branches.
It's not surprising to me that you're thinking good, but it's always seamless.
All the sites, all the 18 fields that you visited, do you feel like this is any different? Or is there anything that stands out?
Well, I will say, as far as
I have seen this one. I said horses and horses, precious.
So when you start studying, once we get inside,
Is that suction working?
But I was just like, I get them two up here, and I always have one of my favorites.
Oh, good.
And don't forget to ask for the tractor.
I'll call tonight.
At the beginning, hold up, and the big one. We only have this, so when he wants like to play, he wants to do that. So at the start, drawing with the smaller ones, I'm not pushing that at a time.
That's fine.
Yeah, we're not gonna be here now.
Pull it down, probably.
Huh?
Pull it down.
It's on a minute. There we go. Alright, let's get a retractor and let's get in here. Okay, retractor.
Can I get a Richardson?
It's of FFP. Alright. Now let's go ahead and get a Balfour retractor down here.
Can I get a runner? I need some FFP.
Two of FFP coming. Alright, looks like we got a lacerated liver over here on this side, okay? Looks like. Oh, that's him right there. I don't see. Alright. We could have used our little bags or whatever. Alright, hemostat. Alright. I see that he's got some bowel trauma as well. I see some bowel trauma. Okay. So let's go ahead and suction. Suction down here.
We still got the Bovie too.
This little bifurcation off right there. Click. Right here. All right, done with that one. There you go. And we had another clamp up here we left somewhere. Right here. Moisten. We'll pack that right in there. We'll pack. Now let's go ahead and get that book Walter. Alright, so we got the bleeding control. Now we're going to sit in the book Walter right here, okay? All right, so we're going to be ready to just go ahead and irrigate, check for all the bleeders, make sure we got that. We'll be ready to close them up. Okay. Okay. All right.
Want to give a closing suture?
All right. So let's go ahead and get a count. Let's go ahead and get a count.
Count.
Alright, ready for count?
It's very syrupy. Do we actually have any cleaning wipes around this?
The hardest question I'm going to ask you, sir, forget the camera, we'll just look at it. Is your name, rank?
Yeah, Major Galan.
What's your first name?
Oh, Major Renee Galan.
And can you spell your last name for me?
Galan.
Okay, and you are with what branch?
I'm with the U.S. Army Reserve. I'm with the 325th Bravo 1 Company.
What do you do in the civilian world?
In the civilian world, I'm an OBGYN.
How is that different from what you do in the civilian world?
Extremely different. It's a far stretch from what I do in the real life. You know, in the real world, I typically, if I'm going to do surgeries, typically it's on a healthy female patient. And a lot of times it's a cesarean section, or it's a hysterectomy, or it's a very controlled setting in terms of surgery. So this is completely different. In this reality, we're dealing with a soldier who's depending on us accessing the intra-abdominal access quickly, efficiently, obtaining hemostasis while keeping them stable during an emergent procedure.
How does systems like this and I would say practice runs or trial runs like this better prepare you? How well does it prepare you?
Practice runs, whether it's in the civilian world or in the military career, are vital because it makes sure that all the components of that team recognize their role, and so that we can fine tune so that in real time we can be efficient and overall improve the prognosis and outcomes for our soldiers.
As an Army reservist, and you're lucky to, many have different career fields outside. How does your civilian career field benefit you here in the military?
Well, obviously my civilian career allows me to practice at the full gamut of my specialty, and again with the U.S. Army Reserve, I'm also proficient, so I can go fill in where needed for U.S. Army reservists and their families, more importantly. So it's a full spectrum connectivity and teamwork along the whole entire length of the career, whether it's private practice or a military career.
What does it mean to you to be able to serve soldiers and really save lives?
You know, I'm proud to participate with the U.S. Army Reserve. You know, I'm nostalgic in that sense, in that it allows me to give back to my country. So I'm glad to be here and glad to be part of the team.
Have you been in a real-world situation of what you're about to perform today?
I have in training, but never in a soldier frontline aspect. But I have in training, so I know what it's like to be under the pressure and racing against the clock to benefit an outcome for a patient. Okay, so basically the TOC gets information that we are going to receive casualties. That information gets relayed up here to PAD and into triage. Everybody gets ready to receive the casualties, and the soldiers will go through and be assessed in the triage area, and then that's the initial assessment. And then they move through EMT, okay? And then from the EMT, if the surgeons are available and our anesthesia ancillary support, and we make ourselves available in the EMT area to help assess those soldiers coming in and make an assessment of who needs to come to the operating room emergently. Once we make that assessment, then we come and get our OR teams ready to go. Everyone's on the same sheet of music. No hold up. Soldiers get right back into surgery. We start a surgery, and we try to keep our line of communication flow very fluid through the entire process. We communicate to our circulators and the other ancillary staff when we're anticipated finishing our case so that we can relieve ourselves of this duty once the patient is stable, and we'll let our first assist close, and then we go and make ourselves available to assess other soldiers so that we can keep a steady flow of surgeries going and no delays in between cases. So, and then once the patient leaves here, once the soldiers leave here, the recovery is right on the other side in the ICU ward. There's a PACU beds there. We also have a secondary intensive care unit here, and then we have a ward on the other side for the patients that need observation but aren't critically ill, and in some cases can return back to service within 72 hours. So, and then in the very back of the hospital, we have pastoral support, and on the opposite side of the hallway, along those corridors, we'll have X-ray, we have pharmacy, and central supply. And so pretty much cover the full gamut. If it's something that's outside of our capabilities, obviously we make those evaluations to get those soldiers evacuated as fast as possible to get them where they need to be, and in the hands of who can take care of that soldier quickly. That's so.
No, it's good. Good piece of